Sitting here with Randy Bachman. You just heard You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. Classic tune.
Thanks.
What do you love about music?
The fact that around the world it's such an integral part of people's lives, whether they admit it or not. Somebody said this once, and it bears repeating. If the musicians of the world went on strike, or the songwriters, and didn't allow, just like an airplane strike, didn't allow any flights off the ground, if no music was allowed in your life, on the radio, on TV, anywhere, it would just be, it's like watching a movie with the sound off. Your life would be so empty and silent. And that music conveys so many emotions, and it's such a worldwide gathering together of people and love and feelings and stuff. You know, I hate to be corny, but it's like what John Lennon said. You know, music is the healer, and all you need is love. And if you get two armies fighting together, and they're killing each other, and you get them to stop and have them both sing, "All you need is love." Do you know what I mean? Or "Merry Christmas." Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You can declare a truce just by singing a psalm. It gets rid of so many of the problems in the world, you know.
Yeah, do you think we kind of lost the aspect of that? It was all about love in the 60s, 70s?
Yeah, it was. The 60s were really quite incredible. And I'm fortunate that, you know, I was there in my early stages, like being in the Guess Who and being in those bands and coming through that and living through the Monterey Woodstock era that the guys your age only can read about. I was there, you know, and playing at a lot of them, and that was really, and I was also fortunate in 67 to go to England and see that whole thing going on there in Soho in London. All the clubs with the Stones and the Yardbirds, the formation of Cream, the formation of Hendrix were there at the time when we were there. And then to come back here and play all the pop festivals when Woodstock was going on, the Seattle Pop Festival in Monterey, I just really feel like I was really blessed to be there, not buying a ticket, but being in a band, playing on the bill and sitting backstage like we are here, sitting there with Robert Plant there and Sly from the Family Stone there and Ike and Tina Turner there and Chuck Berry there. I've had an incredible ride. This has been a great life.
Was it a different atmosphere amongst musicians back then? It seemed like it was a lot more family-oriented. Everyone was kind of, you know, out there for the music. And
well, the musicians were there purely for one reason, to play for the people and to play with each other. There's great jamming going on backstage. After a while, when the tour is over and the music died down and you unplug and plug the guitar up, you look at paying the bills. And then the reality sets in, we haven't been paid properly. And so you have to look at that end of the music business. Where is my money? The manager got it all? Where did he send it? The agent got it all? The label kept it all? Where did they send it? Because we've been out there on tour for 6 months selling this record. Where is our little share of this? And so the music starts out being purely for music, but sooner or later you've got to get down to the business thing and, like, where's my pay for doing this? And this guy's driving that and living in that house, and I'm still on the road in Holiday Inn. I don't understand this. And so you get out of that contract and you try to be more attentive to your next contract and not get so shafted or screwed on the deal. And sooner or later, the whole music business evolved to becoming a corporate thing now. And it's so corporate that I think it's lost its soul and lost its music, but I'm kind of glad. I see that we're living through a transitional period now where it's going back to indie labels, whereas you and your brother or you and your friend will start an indie label and you get one band that you love. And you put them on that label, and you go and find other people to love that band, and that's how it grows. And that's what the 60s was. It was Jack Holtzman starting Elektra Records because he saw and liked the Doors, and nobody would sign them, so he signed the Doors. Then he signed Love. Then he signed Judy Collins. You know, then he signed a couple of other acts. And Mo Austin at Warner Brothers signing Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and Neil Young, and those kind of things. Herb Alpert having his first hit and then signing Cat Stevens just out of the passion because they liked the artist. And they never dropped the artist when the first album didn't sell. They signed the artist, a person, a guy who's going to be with their label 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 years and maybe 15 years. And that music that was done in the 60s and which bled into the 70s is what we all hold so dear today. That's what you call classic rock. Done with the passion. Done with performances in the studio. One microphone. Some of my best records were done with one mic.
No edge.
Yeah, shaking all over. One microphone. Do you know what I mean? And you put that on and you still hear the excitement because we listened to 5 takes of that, even though it had mistakes. We picked one that was the best performance, and that's what you buy. You're not just buying the song, because the song is the currency of the music business. It's also, in the old days, you were buying the performance. And I know Mick Jagger, I know like a lot of these guys, they've got 3 great takes of Brown Sugar or Jumpin' Jack Flash. They pick the one with that little flub, the mistaken one, which they can't fix because it's got that extra beat, and when the maracas come in, the whole place goes wild and you want to dance. You know what I mean? That's really important. That's what came through the radio and made us buy those records. And we would watch the kids dance on American Bandstand. That's lost now. A lot of the soul is gone. Everything is just so perfect, and so it's coming back because of the indie bands. My daughter, who's 20, is in like 3 indie bands. One's with all girls, one's with a couple of guys. It's a synth band, but they go to the 70s or 80s. They zero in on that and say, we love this, and they go and try to buy all the old gear and get the sound, and they don't want to record in Pro Tools. When they recorded my studio, they didn't even use headphones. We're used to playing this way. His amp's there, I'm there. They've blown each other's brains out. You play this thing, there's nothing to mix. It's a performance, it's recorded live. They love it. All their friends love it. I think music is going back to that, going back to the performance. Things like Tonight, Every Song Tells a Story, and my jazz album are being really embraced by the people because they see me out taking chances and doing things that aren't scripted, that I'm just kind of telling stories and making them up. And when I play the jazz stuff, it's all off the top of your head, and I'm making mistakes. And it's really hard to go out and accept the fact that I'm going to go out and make mistakes. Because when you're in a classic rock band, like I have been with the Guess Who, you have to play every song like it's in people's memories. It's in you. If I played Let It Rock, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet Tonight, and it's not like the record, it's too slow. It's not going to resonate within you.
That'll still be cool, though.
It'll be cool, but you know what I mean? When I hit that thing and I tell the story, you go, wow, that's the story behind You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. And I do the song, and it's the same thing as the album. You sit there, and the whole resonance is there. It's your mother's chicken soup. You know what I mean? It's a comfort food. It's a comfort music. So that's what I like about the business. I see an evolution going back to the indies who are very passionate about 1 or 2 bands, and they go and they will stay with that band for a long, long time. Whereas the big labels, if you don't, at this point, the corporate guys have a meeting, and we gave you this much money, you only sold this many records, you're gone. And you say, well, what about the hits and the music within me, in my heart and soul, in my head, and all the living I've done that I'm putting into my new album? Sorry, too bad, go to another label. So that's it's good to see that evolution. And, everything does go in cycles.
I think it was 1967 or maybe pushing 1968, and I was in the Guess Who, and we hadn't really broken big yet. We had, local radio hits. And I remember being in Berkeley, which was real hip at the time, and I remember turning the corner to try to find the car where we had parked our car, and coming down the street towards me was 3 guys, big guys, wearing jackets with like the same colors. And as I stepped off the curb to cross the street, now they were 100 feet away from me, they changed their direction to block me, and I just kind of pretended I was looking in the store window and tried to go back, and I could see they went back, and I was going to have to go through or around these guys and figure, oh man, what am I going to do? I'm a guy from Winnipeg, I don't know how to fight, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And as they got closer to me, almost to like where those steps were, a couple of dozen feet away, a car pulled up, and out of the car got this small woman. And when they saw her, the 2 of the guys immediately dispersed and left, and this one poor guy was standing there. She started to tear a strip off of him, and I hadn't heard language like this since the movies, like with these Marine drill instructors. And she was just ripping down on this guy and yelling at him to get in the car, and he didn't take out the garbage or whatever was happening. And I'm grateful that she showed up. And as he was getting into the car, she slammed the door. The window was open. It was very hot out. She said, baby, when you get home, you ain't getting no sugar tonight.
Lonely feeling deep inside. Find a corner where I can hide. Silent footsteps crowding me. Sudden darkness, but I can see. No sugar tonight in my coffee. No sugar tonight in my tea. No sugar to stand beside me. No sugar to run with me. Got to learn down, got to know, got to learn down, got to learn down, got to know, got to learn down. In the silence of my mind, quiet movements where I can find. She's grabbing for me with her eyes. Now I'm falling from the sky. No sugar tonight in my coffee. No sugar tonight in my tea. No sugar to stand beside me. No sugar to run with me. Got to learn down, got to know, got to learn down, got to learn down, got to know, got to learn down.
So I played that for Burton Cummings, and it was too short. It was 2 minutes and 10 seconds long. And it was Burton said that needs something else. And I said, you know, this is in a really strange key. We had originally was done in F sharp. And he said, you know, I have a song in F sharp too. And he played me his song. It was called New Mother Nature. And we thought maybe we'll put these together, maybe they'll work. And lo and behold, we put them together, they worked. The song was on the American Woman album. So Colin's going to sing New Mother Nature the way Burton showed it to me. Then we're going to do them both together and you'll see how it worked.
Chocolate says yes and I believe him when I'm talking about the things I said. She hadn't got the faith or the guts to leave him when we're standing in each other's way. You come back now to places you've been to, you wonder what you're gonna find. You know you've been wrong and it won't be long before we leave them all far behind. It's the new Mother Nature taking over. It's the new splendid lady come to call. It's the new Mother Nature taking over. She's getting us all. She's getting us all. Chocolate said no when I came back last time. It's looking like I lost a friend. The no use calling because the sky is falling and I'm getting ready near the end. Smoke-filled room in the corner of the basement. The situation must be right. A bag of goodies and a bottle of wine. We're gonna get it all right tonight. 'Cause it's the new Mother Nature taking over. It's the new splendid lady come to call. Mother Nature taking over. She's getting us all. She's getting us all. Lonely feelings, yes, and I believe inside. All the things I said. Find the corner, all the things for the constant where I can hide in each other's way. Silent footsteps back down to places you've been to. You wonder what you're gonna find. Sudden talk, you've been wrong and it won't be hard. You've only leave them all far behind. New Mother Nature taking over. It's the new splendid lady come to go. It's the new Mother Nature taking over. She's getting us all. She's getting us all.
Thank you. Thank you.
88.3 CJIQ, the Backstage Pass of myself, Matt Schichter, is what you're listening to. Sitting here with Randy Bachman. What's the song you've written you're most proud of?
It's a song on my jazz album called Our Leaves Are Green Again that I'm most proud of. That's one of my new songs. And the songs I'm most proud of that are the older classic songs, are the ones that were, I felt, given to me by someone, the god of songs, who says, you've been trying so hard and written all these crappy things. Here's a good song. And if you're open and the song comes to you, you kind of get it and you go, wow, holy cow, incredible. And you go and play it for someone. Have you heard this? Because it's a perfect thing. And they say, no, I haven't heard it. And I played for you. Have you heard it? I guess I wrote it. I mean, that's pretty much what it's like when you write a song. You don't know, did I hear this when I was 2 or when I was 12 or when I was 20 and I'm just putting a new suit of clothes on this thing and somebody's going to say, oh, that's a Chuck Berry song or that's a Cat Stevens song or that's a Neil Diamond song or whatever. Wherever you hear it, you never know that's in your subconscious that you're writing a song. And so, I mean, Taking Care of Business, You Ain't Seen Nothing, were written that way kind of instantly on stage. And Our Leaves Are Green Again, I wrote, it's on my jazz album. It's just me singing with the piano, which I've never done because I'm really not a singer. So to write this with Stephen Macchio, who's wrote Celine's A Brand New Day, who's pretty much a pop writer, but to take him to his jazz roots and classical roots and do the song that's a very Celtic jazz piano thing, and me being kind of Van Morrison or Elvis Costello out front and just singing. It's very bare naked performance from me.
It's just
not behind, I've never done this. No, nothing.
Wow.
The whole album's jazz, except the last track is Our Leaves Are Green Again, and it's such a touching song that I can't perform it without getting verklempt and getting tears in my eyes and kind of breaking up. And when I perform it in the jazz clubs, which get pretty noisy by the last set, when I start that, to hear the silence, to see the waitresses stop with the trays like this, and the bartenders stop, and the whole place stop, like the E.F. Hutton commercial. E.F. Hutton says, invest in this, and everybody goes, what are we going to invest in? When I start this song, everybody stops and listens. When it's all done, they just go, did you write that song? We want that for our grandmother, for her anniversary. We want it for our anniversary. We want to play it at our anniversary, because it's about growing old and still having the passion for life and music, and for a person that's close to you. Could be your mother, your father, could be your girlfriend, could be your brother, whatever. And it's our leaves are green again. That even when it's all done, we're all going to go to this place, whatever you want to call it, all our heaven, and our leaves will be green again. And it's just, when I came upon this title, I thought, what a great way to say it's never going to end. Yeah. What we've got here is going to keep going somewhere else and keep going somewhere else, and the leaves will always, every spring, we'll always have these spring times in our life, and then autumn comes, and then you fall in love again. Whether it's here or in heaven, I'll meet you again, and I'll meet my granddad there, who I haven't seen for all this time. Our leaves will be green again. We'll be children running around in this place, And it's like such an image. And when I was writing these lyrics down, I couldn't believe it. Stefan and I, when we were done, I looked sheepishly at him, because I just met him an hour before. I look at him, and I thought, man, I'm crying. This is like embarrassing. I look at him, and he's got tears pouring down his face. I was approaching a birthday. I proposed to my wife again to get remarried on my birthday, which every guy ought to do, because then you never forget your anniversary. It's on your birthday. So I've done this, and my birthday's approaching, and I'm agreed to do the vows thing with my wife again. Stefan Macchio had decided at the same time that I was getting renewal of vows with my wife. He was getting married to his girlfriend of 18 years. Wow. I said, of 18 years? This is a high school romance? Yeah, we met in high school, and finally we're getting married. He's like 30-something now, right? And the song meant the same to him, that him and Hillary were getting married, and the same feeling they had when they were 15 and 16, their leaves are green again. They're getting married and going on this, he's Italian, going on this tour of Italy to visit his cousins and relatives and stuff like that. Amazing. So like I said, I put this song out, and people have come up to me. It's been on CBC a lot. It's not a hit record, but it's one of those things that will get played at anniversaries and graduations, because you're all leaving. It's the last of your high school. But we'll meet again 30 years from now, and some business will cross paths, and guess what? Our leaves will be green again. That's like one of my greatest songs.
Cool. Let's play it right now. It's Randy Bachman, Our Leaves Are Green, 88.3.
I was going to call it Green Again, but it was too Kermit the Frog, too green again. So I have to always put Our Leaves Are Green Again.
Seems the birds have flown and the leaves are brown, and my world is turning gray. Will my aching heart ever sing again, always wanting yesterday? All I gotta do is close my eyes. All I gotta do is want your touch. Only in a dream can I pretend that our leaves are green again. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. As the years go by, we are satisfied with the embers of our love. As the pieces fall, sweeter memories call, and the angels smile on us. And all we gotta do is close our eyes. All we gotta do is want to touch. We can share the dream and both pretend that our leaves are green again. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. And all we gotta do is close our eyes. All we gotta do is want to touch. We can share the dream and both pretend that our leaves are green again. All we gotta do is close our eyes. All we gotta do is want to touch. We can share the dream and both pretend that our leaves are green again. Comes the last page where the story ends and our leaves are green again. When Burton Cummings joined the Guess Who in, I guess it was 66. And so we were based in Regina this whole summer. And in Regina itself was a club called the 4D, the Fourth Dimension. And Sir Douglas Quintet was playing and Joni Mitchell was playing on the same night. So we had a night off. We all went to see her. And I was sitting at the table and in the door walked two ladies, two girls. One was brunette, one was blonde. I was struck immediately. And something said to me, you got to do something. This is a moment in your life that if you don't seize this moment, you'll think about this and maybe regret it forever. And being a very shy guy, I said to the road manager of the Guess Who, his name was Jim Martin, could you go over and introduce yourself and sit at that table, and once you get comfortably settled in, call me over? And don't talk to the brunette, just talk to the blonde. So thank you, Jim Martin. His nickname was Jumbo, and thanks to Jumbo. And he went over and introduced himself and sat at their table, and then a little while later called me over. And I sat at the table, and basically we were just sitting there and watching Joni Mitchell. When she was done, I asked if we could give the girls a ride home. And Jumbo left, so I had both girls to give a ride home. They were sisters. And I asked if I could take the brunette out the next night. Her name was Lorraine. She said sure, and we decided we're going to go to the movies. So the next night, I went to her house to pick her up and got ushered into a living room that had a big overstuffed couch, a plant, and a piano, and nothing else in there. And we were going to go to a movie that started, I don't know, about 8 o'clock. I got there about 7, sat in this room till 7:30, 7:40, 7:45. She wasn't coming down. Her little brother kept coming down saying, she's almost ready, she's almost ready. And so I found myself sitting at the piano, and not being a piano player, but luckily enough having a brother that when I was playing violin at the age of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, he was playing accordion. He was a year and a half younger than me. And I remember making him lay down and pull the end of the accordion back and forth, and I would sit on his knees and just play the white keys, and he'd pump it, because when you're a little kid, it's hard to pump this accordion, even though it was a little one. So he'd sit there pulling this up and down, and I would play in the key of C. So I sat at this piano in the key of C, and I played. And since I was sitting there waiting, first words I thought of were, these arms long to hold you. And then I didn't have anything else. And then she came down. It was too late for the movies. We just went for a drive around Regina. But when I got together with Burton Cummings later and showed him this idea for a song, and he said, but you know, when you sing those words, these arms long to hold you, there's nowhere to go after that. So why don't we call it These Eyes? And I said, no, it's got to be called These Arms. No, let's just try These Eyes. So he sang, these eyes cry every night, these arms long to hold you. I went, wow, that's a perfect, yeah, I'll move those to the third and fourth line, and this is our first and second line. And so now we're going to give you the song that was, basically changed our lives forever. We didn't know it at the time. I didn't know it in that room. Changed my life forever. These eyes
and these hearts could not accept and pretend the heavens on me, yeah. I will never be free, no, no, no. Gave a promise to me, yeah, and you broke it. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. These eyes cry every night for you, and these arms long to hold you again. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you.
88.3 CJIQ, the Backstage Pass of myself, Matt Schichter, is what you're listening to. Sitting here with Randy Bachman. What's the coolest show you played?
The SARS. The SARS thing 2 years ago in Toronto with the Guess Who, with the Stones, with AC/DC. I mean, I was a fan being there just to hang out with Rush, you know what I mean, hang out with Jim Belushi and stuff. We all got a kick out of hanging out with each other because we watched each other over the years. I mean, like I said, in '67 I saw Mick Jagger and the Stones. That's when they had Brian Jones still with the band. And you cross paths with these guys all the time. Or you know their roadie because he was your guitar tech. And there's this cross-pollination of people in the music business. To do the SARS thing was an absolute ultimate high. For that many people to be part of the Canadians showing the world like SARS is over and we're functioning again as a province, as a city, as a country. You know, the SARS thing is gone. And to be part of that and to go on stage and to launch into the American Woman riff and just have the crowd snap to like, not attention, but snap to rock and roll attention. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get ready and let's do this thing. And then when I did Taking Care of Business and I said, clap your hands, to see almost 1 million hands as far as I could see. And I was on a 20-foot stage and I'm 6 feet tall, so my eye level's at about 26 feet high. And as far as I could see, left, right, and center was hands all clapping in time. It was absolutely amazing. Just stunning. So that was like the greatest show of all time. It's the best run show I've ever been to. The logistics of it, getting the people there, getting the bands there, having the security, have nothing go wrong. It was just amazing. It was an amazing feat by Riley O'Connor and House of Blues, the Toronto Police, the Ontario Provincial Police, the Toronto Transit, who got everybody there. It was like Woodstock run by the Swiss. Because Woodstock basically was a disaster. This was absolutely perfect. The weather, there was one idiot who got arrested, who was a drunk American on the day of the show, who caused some, nothing to do with the concert, but he was there for it. So basically you could say it was without incident. It was just a phenomenal show.
Yeah. The first one, you didn't play at it. Were you there, though?
No, we passed on going.
Why?
We had played the Seattle Pop Festival, which was 3 days of glorious. You name the band. Sly, like I said, Sly and the Family Stone, Burrito Brothers, The Byrds, Ike and Tina Turner, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, Led Zeppelin, 10 Years After, The Doors.
The Who's Who of rock.
Oh, yes. I've got the poster. It's stunning. It's a Beautiful Day, Chick Corea, Sun Ra. I mean, it was a mixture of jazz and all this kind of stuff. You know, Richie Havens. I mean, on and on. And basically it was a great Woodstock. 3 days of sunshine. The Guess Who played all 3 days. We left there, went to Chicago to record the American Woman album. In the middle of the week, we're setting up recording the American Woman album. I get a phone call. There's another pop festival in Bethel, New York. It's outside of Woodstock. We had already seen on the air Woodstock had started. Didn't have enough toilets. Something went on with the traffic. The cars were backed up. It was raining. It was a mess. It was a wreck. You can't get in there because the roads are blocked. We're flying everyone in a helicopter. I said, I don't want to go in a helicopter. Too many rock stars get killed on motorcycles and helicopters. By the way, we're recording our American Woman album, so why would we go and want to play this disaster where there's not enough food or water and breaking down the fences and all this stuff? So basically he said, no, we pass on Woodstock. One of those crossroads. Oh, yeah, it would have been nice to be in Woodstock and be... But if we had... Maybe we wouldn't have recorded American Woman and had it sound like it sounded at that moment in time and come out and be a #1 record and change all our lives again. So it's one of those crossroads. Like people said, what if you never left the Guess Who? And they would have had Taken Care of Business and You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. They never would have had it. That was me singing by accident and making up songs on stage with different guys by accident that became hit records. And these are two of the greatest accidents in my life, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet and TCB. They really are. And when I tell the story tonight, you'll see that. Purely accidental things. But I had to be there at that time with those people for the accidents to happen. That's what they call fate or destiny or good fortune or serendipity or happenstance or whatever the word is. You got to be there at that moment. So it would have been nice to be immortalized in Woodstock, but maybe we wouldn't have had American Woman.
Yeah, I heard you wrote that history.
Yeah, curling rink.
One day in the mail, my house came a CD with the name Lenny Kravitz on it. And I plopped it in the CD player, and I was at my son Tal's house, and I called him out and put it in, and it was this.
American woman, get away from me. American woman, mama let me be. Don't come hanging round my door. I don't want to see your face no more. Colored lights can hypnotize, sparkle someone else's eyes. Now woman said get away. American woman, listen what I say.
That's what was on the Lenny Kravitz CD. And Canadian comedian Mike Myers was doing Austin Powers 2 and had asked Lenny to do a demo of that to put over the closing credits. And I loved that version, so did Burton, so Lenny went back and worked on it a bit more, and it was on Austin Powers 2. It was on Lenny 5, his album, his 5th album, and it was his #1 single for him, and he won a Grammy. And then he put it on Lenny's Greatest Hits, and it sold another couple of million, and Lenny became our new best friend. American Woman was written on stage, basically as a jam. And we were on stage playing this dance, and it was really cool. And I broke a string. So we went to the mic and said, Burton said, Randy's broken a string. We're going to take a break. So everyone milled about, and he played records at those dances. And I went off stage and put the string on my guitar and tuned it up and started to play this riff. And immediately was going like this to get the other guys on stage because we were on a break, but I wanted them all. I didn't want to forget this riff, and I had this feeling this was a moment, And so they came on stage, and we started jamming the song. And eventually Burton came on stage and, what are you doing? What are you doing? We're jamming this riff, play something. And he did, I did a guitar solo, he did a piano solo. I did a guitar solo, he did a flute solo. I did a guitar solo, he did was a harmonica solo, and then we ran out of stuff to play. This is went on for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. And I yelled to him, sing something. And he said, what do I sing? And I said, sing anything. And out of his mouth, he said the same line 4 times, American Woman, stay away from me. The song came out, and it went to #1 in the States in all the 3 trades, and the album was #1. And this was the Guess Who's big moment, and we were finally rocking. So here's American Woman.
Mama, let me be. Don't come knocking
CJIQ, the Backstage Pass of myself, Matt Schichter, is what you're listening to. Sitting here with Randy Bachman. I read that you said 20 more years you could put on the road, and you wouldn't have a problem with it.
I wouldn't. I recently lost 150 pounds. I'm really in shape. I work out an hour to 2 hours every day. And when I'm home too long, I get the itch to go out. It becomes a drug after a while, right? It's no fun playing at home for yourself or in your own studio. You got to go out and have some reaction. I really love doing what I'm doing tonight. I'm sitting telling the stories behind the hits for the Guess Who and b.t.o. And to see the people's faces, it's like telling little kids bedtime story around the campfire, and it gets spooky. You see them huddle up, you know what I mean? Or they're going to bed and their eyes are watching because you're telling them about finding a treasure or flying. It's a Peter Pan story. But to see the faces of the audience, they don't know what story I'm telling. I was walking in San Francisco, and this biker gang came around the corner, and blah, 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 and this happened. And they're sitting there, and suddenly I go, bada bing, and then she said, you ain't getting no sugar tonight. And then I start the song, and they go, wow. So they're taken on a musical ride. They know the songs. They're kind of the soundtrack to your life if you're Canadian. But to hear the stories, the people have really been liking it. So I kind of like I really like doing it. And with the jazz record that you have there, I'll put out another one, and I'm thrilled if I get asked to play a jazz festival here, there, or anywhere. The band alters slightly. You get a different keyboard player in the band. But it's still me and basically my drummer and bass player, and I like to go out and do these songs because they're totally different. But in the jazz set, near the end, inevitably, I do Blue Collar and Looking Out for Number One, which are my jazz, and Undone, which were my jazz songs in the other bands. But this is quite a pure jazz album. But near the end, when they get a second or third encore, I just say, here's a jazz shuffle of Taking Care of Business, and they love it. I still give them the hit, you know.
Do you think people want that when they see you live? They want to hear the hits?
They're yelling for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind?
But when they came for the jazz thing, they really wanted the jazz, and I really did it. And I do a front end solo, about 10, 12 minutes, just alone me noodling around jazz guitar to show people I really can play. Yeah, I've been practicing 2 hours a day for 35 years for nothing. I can play some pretty hot licks, but you don't get to see it. When I'm doing classic rock, you want everything to sound exactly like the record. So I kind of painted myself into a corner with all these hits. But getting out of the corner is doing this jazz thing. I start the song and do any solo I want. It doesn't matter. And it's a total freedom to find as an artist. Because you've got to believe the last 4 years playing with the Guess Who has been very painted into a corner. Doing 32 hit songs, and everyone has to sound like the record. I would live for the end of Glamour Boy or the beginning of American Woman, where there's a little jam, where I can play as many riffs and licks as I want, and then we get back to the song.
Okay, who can recognize this? This is the name of that tune. Oh, who said that? Paperback Writer, exactly. When that came out in 1967, I thought, wow, what a great riff and what a great song. And I love this Beatles song, especially the Paperback Writer. All that harmony all mixed in and intertwined with each other was just great. I wanted to write a song like that. And I'd spent a lot of time with the Guess Who in New York at Scepter Studios. And our engineer had to leave every night at 11 to get home. And then in the morning, he would take the 8:15 back into the city. So I wanted to write about it. And here's the song I wrote. And I called it White Collar Worker, because then engineers wore like white collars and stuff. Here's how the song went. They get up in the morning from the alarm clock's warning, take the 8:15 into the city. Do you recognize these lyrics? There's a whistle up above and people pushing, people shoving, and the girls who always look pretty. And if this terrible song, and it was kind of like Yummy Yummy, remember I got love in my tummy? And if the train's on time, you can get to work by 9 and start your slaving job to get your pay. If you ever get annoyed, look at me, I'm self-employed, and I love to work at nothing all day. Now here's the big hook, it went, white collar worker, and it was just like Paperback Writer. And Burton Cummings said, how I'm ashamed of you. How terrible can it be? We can't do this song, it's blatantly Paperback Writer. And so I thought, well, I guess he's right. Every time the Guess Who had a rehearsal and to pitch songs for, the next record, I'd bring out White Collar Worker, and it would get tossed away. And b.t.o had moved to Vancouver. We were playing a club called the Image One, and then we really worked. It was 6 days a week, 5 sets a night, probably 5 45s or 5 50-minute sets a night. And after 6 days of screaming, Fred Turner, who was basically the lead singer in Bachman-Turner Overdrive, his voice was pretty ragged. And he came to me near the last set of this Saturday night and said, I can't sing anymore, you gotta sing the last set. So I had to sing the last set, which meant a lot of instrumentals and a lot of goofing around. So out of my bag, now this is a Saturday night in a rock and roll club, and guys want to rock, and here I am singing, she's got everything she needs, she's an artist, she don't look, and guys are going, we want to rock and roll. And so I turned around in desperation and said, so let's do Oyo Como Va, that Santana song. Now, none of us knew Spanish, so we were singing this kind of Winnipeg Ukrainian style. We're going, Oyo Como Va, Benito Bueno Bamaza, Bleviada, Oyo Como Va, Pierogi Bueno Bamaza. And I was getting to this. I'm trying to kill as much time as I can and looking at my watch ring, please let it be 1 o'clock in the morning so we can stop playing. And we were running out of Oyo Como Va. On the way to the gig that night, I heard Daryl Burlingham, who was a friend of ours in Winnipeg. He was called Daryl B on the radio here. And he said, this is Daryl B on CFox Radio, and we're taking care of business. And he played a song by, I think, Mamas and Papas. And I thought, wow, Taking Care of Business, that's a great title for a song. And I couldn't write it down. I was driving and memorized it, put it in this little shelf next to my heart that had White Collar Worker on it. And that night, when I was on stage doing Oyo Como Va, figuring in my mind, what can I do next? How can we rock out? And when Oyo Como Va was over, I turned to the rest of the band, to b.t.o, and said, play these 3 chords over and over and over, and over and over and over. And when I get to the hook, help me. And I wasn't sure what the hook was going to be, how I was going to fit in that Taking Care of Business thing I heard Daryl B say on the radio into White Collar Worker, into this thing. But I was very lucky. I picked 3 good chords. I mean, I had a choice of, that was Louie Louie. And also that night I'd heard Daryl play Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, the Bob Seger thing. That was cool 3 chords over and over. So I took 3 chords over and over, and the song ended up being Taking Care of Business. We stopped playing it about 4 minutes short of when we were supposed to end the night, and my brother Rob kept playing on drums, hitting the drums, and the crowd started to sing Taking Care of Business. And I thought, great, Rob. Played it again, and it finished the night.
Taking care of business every day. Taking care of moment. This is a pop festival. You are 20,000 people, and we want to hear you make some noise. Yeah. Taking care of business. Taking care of business. All right. Taking care of business. Taking care of business. Taking care of business. Every day. Taking care of business. Every way. You've been taking care of business. You're so fine. Taking care of business. You've been working overtime. Taking care of business. Taking care of business. We've been taking care of business. Taking care of business. One more time. We've been taking care of business. Taking care of business. Taking care of business. Taking care of business. All right, all right, all right, all right.
88.3 CJIQ, the backstage pass of myself, Matt Schichter, is what you're listening to. Sitting here with Randy Bachman. I have 20 quick names. Just name one word answer when I say it.
Okay.
Cool. Burton Cummings.
Dear old friend. You want one-word answers?
One word answer. First thing that comes to your mind. Just quick ones.
Okay.
Jimmy Page.
2 words. Guitar god.
Pete Townsend.
Great songwriter.
John Lennon.
A wonderful spirit.
Paul McCartney.
Another wonderful spirit. I put him right up there. Obviously, I'm a Lennon-McCartney fan, and both of them were what they did for me and the rest of the world. With their songs, songwriting and performances, you can't put that into words. So,
Buddy Holly.
one of my earliest inspirations.
C.F. Turner.
Really good teenage friend, and maybe he and I'll do something together in the future. Who knows?
Oh, there we go. Neil Young.
A really dear friend. We cross paths every couple of years, and it's very enjoyable for both of us. We feel like long-lost brothers.
Van Morrison.
Oh, a true inspiration. Back in the 60s, I gave Van Morrison a guitar when he was broken down and lost his guitar and luggage. We were doing a TV show together. I just saw him perform last May in England at the Hampton Court Palace outdoors. It was staggering. It was phenomenal. He came out and played sax. He did jazz for the first half hour and played saxophone with a big band. It was just cool. And then he launched into Gloria and Brown Eyed Girl and stuff, and took everybody for a great musical ride. He's great.
Jim Morrison.
I was never a Jim Morrison fan. Burton Cummings was a Jim Morrison fan. I never really got the Doors or Jim Morrison. To me, he wasn't that cool a singer. I like some of the songs, but I don't think I went out and bought a Doors album. But I do absolutely love Light My Fire. One of the greatest songs. The beginning, the turn around the chorus. So, I like the stuff, but like I said, I wouldn't go out and buy his box set.
Bob Dylan.
A great inspiration to me of a non-singer who sings, because I'm a non-singer who sings. And so is Neil Young, and that kind of thing. So it's just like, screw everybody. I'm doing this song, and it's going to be pitchy and sharp and flat, but, I'm doing this song. It's like a Randy Newman thing. There's certain guys out there that I really like and admire for their bravado, which I've had to take on, because I'm not really a Burton Cummings style of great singer that hits every note on pitch. I'm more of a performance guy because I wrote the song. So I look at it like I am a Leonard Cohen, Elvis Costello, that kind of thing, Bob Dylan kind of thing.
Eric Clapton.
An icon. I can't say anything more about him. He's a great singer, songwriter. I liked his early guitar playing better when he was into the Gibsons. The Fenders would sound too thin for me. Okay. I like the old Wheels of Fire, Cream thing. I Feel Free, like those kind of songs. Sunshine of Your Love and stuff.
George Harrison.
A truly great guitar player, and like I said, he's up there with Lennon and McCartney. He's one of the greats, one of the Beatles. Very inspirational to me as a songwriter and guitar player.
Jimi Hendrix.
Complete astral from outer space maniac on guitar, who I thought was really phenomenal. To take the tools he had, a Stratocaster, a wah-wah, some weird little fuzz thing, and a Marshall amp, and do the music he did was quite incredible, because everyone had those tools. This guy just built a whole new tower that we're all still trying to climb to this day.
Keith Richards.
Oh, a truly great character and a really great songwriter, rhythm guitar player. He basically, I think, is the heart and soul of the Stones. When he launches into that rhythm guitar, I think I've seen the Stones many, many times live. He's just that anchor kind of thing, him and Charlie Watts. Without either of them, it's pretty much ain't the Stones.
Brian Wilson.
A wonderful songwriter. A tragic story. Wonderful songwriter.
Well, he's back now.
Yeah, but still, if you saw him live, don't believe all the hype.
Bono.
A truly great, wonderful guy. what he's done leading the band, if he is leading the band, or if we're led as a democracy, whatever. You got to give them credit. They're probably the best band in the world. They're still together. They're still with the same manager. They're still with the same label. All those things I talked about before, the getting scammed and screwed out, that hasn't happened to them. They obviously are getting what they deserve, so they're still there creating music. And they continue to astound and amaze me with their records. There might be the odd little valley, the odd little disappointment, and then suddenly they come back with, wow, they're back. That's a great riff. I can't believe that's you too. And that's what music is all about. I've certainly had the valleys. Because life is not a plateau. There's hills and valleys, so I've got to go there, warm it up to that.
Just Randy Bachman.
I've known him all my life, and he's kind of like a brother to me. What can I say?